Look, I don't know how my story's going to end. Well, I guess none of us do. I'm going to serve in the United States Senate until I drop dead or my people tell me to come home. But I'll tell you this, regardless of how my story ends, nobody will ever say Kennedy quit. You honor me with this invitation. Thank you for having me. I'll be pleased to answer and talk about anything you want to talk about, including that new Gene commercial. That's pretty cool. Thank you.
You and Senator Cassidy and 8 other senators sent a letter to the acting administrator of FEMA asking him to just basically terminate risk rating 2.0. So it's basically going toward the administration. And I was wondering if you could elaborate on what you think can happen there. And then we're also working with your staff on some legislation that might be in an approach rider. But I know you've been fighting, and I wanted everybody in this room to know how hard you've been fighting on it, but you know, Louisiana is disproportionately impacted, and it's hard to get the rest of the nation's attention on this. But thanks for what you've done, and I was hoping you could comment.
Okay. Well, what good does it do to provide people the opportunity to purchase insurance if it's so high they can't afford it? And that's what we've got. The flood insurance program, the private markets are getting better, but as you know, in order to buy flood insurance, you got to get it from the federal government. And the program's run by FEMA. And I am so pissed at FEMA. I'm as mad as a murder hornet. I mean, they won't even meet me anymore to talk about it. About, I don't know how many years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, FEMA, this is the risk rating 2.0, decided they were going to revamp the flood insurance program and how they compute rates. Okay. So they did it, and rates were just exploding. They gave us some weird statistics that said, well, 80% of the people will see decreases. When donkeys fly, 80% of the people saw increases. So I called them to my office and I said, explain this to me. And they said, well, we hired an outside consultant. And they came up with this new algorithm. And this algorithm, it can look at your individual home, not your area where you live, but your individual home, and look out 30 years and predict whether that property is going to flood. I said, man, that's pretty extraordinary. Can I see the algorithm? I'm going to hire somebody to go through it. And they said, oh, no. If we showed it to you, we'd have to kill you. And that's where it's been since then. I called the Biden White House. They're the only ones who could fix it. And, you know, it was like, you know, it was like talking to the wind.